your dream is to make 1 billion people follow their dreams. What is the perfect plan?
I really try to listen to the problems my customers are having and I speak to them directly. A lot of young people make this mistake. They get the client, they think the job's over. The job just began.
In order to continue with those relationships, you need a bigger team to achieve that.
It's not the size of the team, it's the quality of the team. There are people in this region who are watching, consuming our content and learning and growing. We have an international global audience. So you create content that solves their problem using the language that they're very familiar with. It almost wants to sound like it's coming from inside their head.
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
What is your take on the event so far?
Oh, it's been pretty wild. It's been amazing to see the kind of speakers, the variety of topics they're speaking about, and the amount of activity that's happening here.
Basically, yesterday, AI license issuance was introduced here in Sharjah. It's being issued within 3 minutes only. What's your intake on that?
That's pretty wild. I love how the adoption of AI has transformed the process of applying for business license, making it easier than ever.
So, Chris, now your dream is to make 1 billion people follow their dreams. Now, how do you include people in Sharjah here in UAE?
Well, we have an international global audience, and so it's not geographically linked to any particular space. Luckily, there are people in this region who are watching, consuming our content and learning and growing. And so I consider this region a part of that billion mission for sure.
Most people do not have capital to start their business. What is your advice for them?
I think when you start a business and you don't have enough money, it creates all kinds of undue pressure on you to make bad business decisions. So I recommend most people, if you don't have runway between 3 to 6 months, you need to build up some of like cash reserves to be able to do that. If you have loans, you can take out a loan, or you could just work at something and maybe do a side job in order for you to save up that money. It's kind of very important to do that.
What is your advice for people in Sharjah on how they can market their business?
My advice would be to use the social platforms that are relevant to the audience and the target in which you hope to attract. Figure out what their pain points are and start to create content that solves some of their pain points to attract them to you.
What is the easiest problems that can be solved for a person that just started their business?
Well, it depends on what kind of line of work you're in. I always recommend people to find an urgent problem that your customers care about a lot. And so you need to spend a little bit of time understanding who they are, having clear definitions of their hopes and their dreams, their fears, whatever outcomes that they want. And when you figure that out, you have to ask yourself, what's getting in the way of you achieving that? And then you want to remove that barrier. This is a theme that was talked about yesterday about removing the friction that your customers experience. I was just talking to somebody and they were telling me about a story about how somebody had developed like a plugin for WhatsApp so that you could have 2 phone numbers. That's a very small problem, but then he sold that company for like hundreds of millions of dollars. That's a very small problem that a lot of people care about. You can become very wealthy by just doing that.
You're very successful in your line in marketing, for example. So marketing agency, let's say.
Okay, marketing agency.
I need to bring in my clients.
Yeah.
To start off with that, you have to build relationships. So what is the most common mistake you would make?
What do your clients care about when they're looking to hire a marketing agency?
For us to give them more exposure, to give them more publicity, visibility, all of that is handed to you. What are the mistakes that could happen?
So they want something that's known as reach, and then they want to increase engagement, and then ultimately conversions. So those are the 3 things that they're looking for when they're looking to hire a marketing agency. So what you should do is you should make content that teaches them, here are 10 mistakes that people who run a small to medium-sized business make when it comes to getting positive ROI or return on ad spend, ROAS, on their marketing efforts. And then if you talk about those mistakes, somebody in your audience who's a customer is going to look at that and ask themselves, why aren't we doing that now? This person seems very credible and their advice seems very actionable. Somebody get them on the phone. I want to have a meeting with them. So that's kind of how you need to do things so that you can attract them to you.
How do you maintain a good relationship with your clients? So basically, once you get one client, you need to do an amazing job in order for them to bring you more people. What is the perfect plan?
The perfect plan is to say what you do and then do what you say. So if you say, I'm going to help you increase your reach, engagement, and conversions, you should set a baseline where they're at today, have clearly defined benchmarks where they'd like to be, and see if that's realistic, and then work towards achieving that goal. That should be your entire focus of your energy. A lot of young people make this mistake. They get the client, they think the job's over. The job just began. So now you have to deliver that, and you have to do a great job, and you have to deliver a great customer experience so they feel like this is a pleasure working with you. And if it's not pleasurable for them, they will find someone else to do the job for them versus you. Now, if you do such a great job and you're getting real results, just a couple things will happen. Number one is they'll naturally recommend other people. When you discover something great, you want to share it with your friends. And you'll say, oh, hey, you need to work with my firm. They're really good. They got us 2 times the amount of business that we used to get. They're like, oh, really? Please share. That happens. Number 2 is you can ask them for a testimonial. You can say, I hope you're happy with what we've done. It would mean the world to me because I'm a small business that if you can give us a positive testimonial and be very clear about the things we were able to help improve for you, then you go and tell that story. You can say, we just helped customer X achieve result Y. If you're interested in this, sign up for this webinar, and then you can introduce them to your business that way.
But do you think that is achievable for a small team? In order to continue with those relationships, you need a bigger team to achieve that.
It's not the size of the team, it's the quality of the team. A small team that's good can achieve amazing results. A team that's really large but bad will achieve no results. Initially, it's just you, maybe a couple of friends, and you start to realize it's more work than you can handle. You should hire people to help you. This moves the economy forward. It gives them opportunity to learn from you, and you can scale your operation. So if you're able to hire more people, that means now you have a capacity surplus. Now you got to go and get more business. So I caution people, be careful of over hiring because then it puts a lot of pressure on you to find new business.
So you have mentioned that businesses have to pick the correct platform. What is the plan after that? I pick the platform. How do you bring your visibility to the social media?
Well, the platform that you pick is dependent on where your customers actually hang out. So some it could be on Snapchat, it could be on TikTok, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And the way that we know that is we have to build a customer profile, an avatar of our ideal customer. When we understand that, then we can pick the platform with them. And now we have to enter into like a multi-month, year-long program of creating content, testing different pieces of content and seeing what works, what sticks, and then developing that over time. So it's going to require quite a bit of time, energy, and effort to be able to see a result.
Chris, what is the plan that you follow?
For my business,
You're the most successful. We might as well know what you do.
I really try to listen to what the problems my customers are having and I speak to them directly. Well, I use the language that they use. So if they use certain words about fear, ashamed, not being able to meet basic needs in terms of rent, I try to use that language. So my copy would then read, I know what it's like to be short every month and not be able to pay rent. I know what it feels like to have a pursuit that you're passionate about, but not to see the financial results. It could be that you're missing X. And if you're interested, I'm running a seminar that's free. If you want to sign up, just send me this message and I'll send you the link so you can register to do that. So you create content that solves their problem using the language that they're very familiar with. It almost wants to sound like it's coming from inside their head.
That's incredible.